The big question we are asking here is, and perhaps the most important question for all of us as well, is whether the qualification increases your job prospects or not. This is important for all the reasons in the world, and I need not explain this any further. After all, if the qualification you are studying for does not increase your job prospects and make you a strong candidate for a given position or role by the employer, then you would rightly rethink your decision of pursuing that qualification. Having said that, I trust that you all realize that there are other factors as well, which comes into play when we talk about getting a job. So please do keep this in mind as we apply this point to AAOIFI fellowships. Now, as far as AAOIFI fellowships are concerned, what I can say is that the AAOIFI fellowships definitely increases your job prospects, and that too by a great amount. How? Simply because the moment an AAOIFI standard is adopted by a regulator of a jurisdiction, or when a regulator recognizes AAOIFI fellowship for the fit and proper criteria, the demand for AAOIFI fellows automatically increases. That is because that jurisdiction will always need someone who can correctly interpret the requirements of the standard and also correctly implement the requirements of those standards. So for example, a couple of years back, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, recognized the AAOIFI Sharia standards and made it mandatory for all IFIs working in the jurisdiction to comply with the AAOIFI Sharia standards. Obviously, who do you think can implement the Sharia standards except those who are well versed with it, and who are those who are well versed with it, but naturally those who are AAOIFI fellows, as they have been tried and tested by AAOIFI through the exams and practical experience requirement of AAOIFI fellowships. And as more and more jurisdictions adopt AAOIFI standards, the demand for AAOIFI fellows increase, which in turn means that the AAOIFI fellowships increases job prospects. The second point is about the trajectory. And here the big question we are asking is, how far can you go with the qualification? Or how far can the qualification take you? In other words, does the qualification allow you to assume senior management decision-making roles? That's the big question that we're trying to answer. And if we apply this criteria, or rather the point of the criteria on AAOIFI fellowships, I believe that AAOIFI fellowships are your tickets to the highest possible positions in an Islamic finance institution. And I say this because of the fact that regulators are now gradually recognizing AAOIFI fellowships as part of the fit and proper criteria. So for example, the Central Bank of Bahrain, CBB, has officially recognized SIPA and CISA fellowships in its fit and proper criteria. And as a result of which, has made it mandatory for certain positions, such as the position of CFO of an Islamic bank, to have a SIPA qualification. What this means is that unless the CFO is a SIPA fellow, he may not be eligible for the position of CFO. This obviously is an incredible recognition point for AAOIFI fellowships, which confirms the fact that AAOIFI fellowships are in fact your ticket to senior management decision-making roles. The third point is the point about flexibility. And the big question we are asking here is, to what extent you can choose a career path or fields of expertise or career fields of your preference. So, and I ask this question because it's possible that the qualification you studied for is perhaps applicable for a given field of study only and is recognized by certain institutions only, and which does not allow you the flexibility to use it in any other manner. So in this case, as far as AAOIFI fellowships are concerned, what I can say is that the mastery of AAOIFI standards will always allow you to pursue different career paths of your preference, such as the career path of a regulator, as a practitioner, as an academician, and even as a consultant. And that is because all these career paths or fields fully recognize and respect AOFI fellowships and are willing to prefer AOFI fellows over those who are not AOFI fellows when it comes to working with AOFI standards. This flexibility carries weightage and must be an important consideration when you are considering one qualification over the other. The fourth point is the point about passport. And the big question we are asking here is, does the qualification gives you the passport to allow you to work anywhere in the world? That is because certain qualifications are only locally recognized and required and not globally recognized and required. If the qualification is only locally recognized and required, then it clearly means that you are stuck in that country and cannot find a job outside of that country. Now, as far as AOFI fellowships are concerned, and this is based on the all-important fact that AOFI standards, that the AOFI fellowships are based on AOFI standards, and these standards are issued by AOFI, the AOFI fellowships definitely give you the passport to work in at least 40 different countries and jurisdictions, simply because AOFI standards are adopted and implemented in those 40 different countries and jurisdictions. And as I said earlier, that as long as the country recognizes AOFI standards, there will always be a demand for AOFI fellows there. Okay. Now coming to the fifth and the last point, which is the point about benefits. And the big question we are asking here is, what other benefits are available other than the career opportunities when you study for a given qualification? Now, this is an important point as well. Career, after all, is not just about getting a job or getting a dream job. It's also about getting access to other opportunities such as learning opportunities, networking opportunities, and contribution opportunities. And you must think about whether the given qualification you are studying for is offering such opportunities to you or not. Again, as far as AOFI fellowships are concerned, what I can say is that AOFI fellows will always enjoy a privileged status in the AOFI capacity building ecosystem, which is based on the philosophy and resources that AOFI fellows should have all these opportunities that I talked about, that is the learning opportunity, the networking opportunity, and the contribution opportunity. This is a point that I'll discuss in further detail on the next slide. Right now, let's conclude the third criteria, which was the criteria of career. And all in all, if I were to summarize, I would say that if you apply this criteria of career on AOFI fellowships, you'll find that AOFI fellowships increases your job prospects. It facilitates your growth to senior management decision-making roles, gives you the flexibility to choose your own career path, and allows you to work anywhere in the world, and also allows you to enjoy a privileged status in the AOFI capacity building ecosystem.
Islamic finance learning made simple and memorable.